So yes, recording in progress. You have been muted. So when you wish to speak, please raise your hand. There is reaction. If you go down to the bottom of your screen, you can see reactions. And if you click on reactions, you will see a hand pop up. And when your hand pops up on the screen, it means you get to go to the top and I can see you very clearly. So I hope that you're feeling in fine voice this midday afternoon on the 13th of March. We're whisking through this year. It's happening very quickly. The speed is unbelievable. And what is going on is also very, very exciting, but also quite overwhelming for many people, the feedback that I'm getting. So the theme for today, next Monday, is going to be the spring equinox. It's coming in around about 9:54 in the evening on the 20th of March. So if any of you who are around, obviously, the country would like to focus your attention around about midday on bringing through the new energies, it's a very important energetic time, a portal and a gateway for bringing in all those new spring-like ideas, things that you'd like to manifest for bringing in for this year. So the theme for today is, what is it that you'd like to spring forth? What wants to come forth from you? Is it your voice? Is it something you're longing to share with somebody? Is it maybe your healing abilities? Maybe it's setting up a group. But this is a good time to focus on what it is you want to bring forth into the new portal of the spring equinox, which is next Monday. So I'm going to start off. Again, I get the theme all the time. I'm going to be running a spring equinox ceremony, a small one in Alderley Edge Woods in Cheshire. So if anybody wants to join me, just go to my page on Facebook, which is on Vision Om on Facebook, or Sas Sound Sorceress on Telegram, and you will find all the details of any of my events. And also Rachel's got a sound event coming up as well with Ravi, I think on the 15th and 16th of April. So if anybody, I don't know if you've got any places left, Rachel, but if anybody wants to...
There are a few, Sas, except it's top secret. Don't tell anyone.
I'm not very good at keeping secrets. That's my problem, Rachel. If you want secrets, don't share them with me, unless they're, yes, personal secrets. I'm very good at. But I just thought I found a really interesting passage that came to me. I always ask for guidance as to what to bring through to everybody, just so at the beginning we can bring ourselves into a cohesive frequency where everything that's been going on beforehand, like I've been rushing around taking my dog out, and I suddenly realized the time, and then tried to get onto the Zoom through with Rachel, that we all have things that we're occupying ourselves, things that draw our attention. So it's really good, I find, just to come into silence and to have something where you can just tune in and focus your attention on what it is you want to bring forth for today. And mine is generally always about sound, vibration, and frequency, because I feel that is the way forward. And lovingly, beautifully, the universe gave me a lovely piece to bring to you, to share with you, whilst you gather yourselves and tune into what it is you want to actually share with us today. So I appreciate your attention and your focus. And I'm going to bring you in this passage and then share any news that I have. And then I shall then pass it over to who wants to speak forth today. So the passage I bring to you today is from a book that was written in 1992, or published in 1992, and it's called Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marcianak. I don't know if anybody's read it, Bringers of the Dawn, but it's about the family of light. I feel it might be about all of us that are bringing forth and grounding the energy of the new earth, the new era of Mother Earth, the fifth dimension, whatever you like to call it. We're grounding it here. I don't believe we're going to be floating off anywhere. I believe that our job is to bring it down here, or certainly mine is to help it. And mine's through frequency and sound. So I'm quite prolific on activating and doing things around the voice and the sound, because that is a way of bringing this energy down to the earth. So bear with me while I read a little passage. It does go on quite a lot, so I'm going to have to narrow it down so you don't fall asleep. So just bear with me. And at the time, maybe you can just, whatever feels good for you, to bring yourself into a state of calm, relaxed, connection to your body. because this is what is needed right now, is people in their bodies, people bringing that vibration. So you might need to move your body around, you might need to give it a shake, you might need to take in some deep breaths, close your eyes, connect to a place in your body that feels safe. So it might be your heart center, it might be your sacral chakra, it might be your head. It may be anywhere, but just feel a place where you can tune into yourself and feel relaxed and calm. And I'm going to read this to you, and then I will let you know when it's over. So it's called, the chapter's called Symphonies of Consciousness. Light informs you, it uplifts you, because once you're informed, you feel more powerful. When you're not informed, you feel powerless. Sound is another way to carry information, because it is part of light. To you, it may seem that sound and light are two separate things, because from your point of view, you perceive light with your eyes and sound with your ears. Because you use two separate areas of perception on your body, it seems that sound and light are separated as well. In actuality, they are very connected. They wind themselves around one another because they both carry information. So like your voice carries information. That's why it's so important to work on the voice, to clear our past traumas, our lack of ability to connect with our truth. Many of the structures built on this planet, particularly ancient sacred sites, have information stored within stone. In the same way you have information stored within the bones of your skeletal form. So when you allow sound to move through you, it unlocks a doorway and allows information to flood into your body. It also penetrates the ground, affecting the vibrations of Earth and allowing a rearrangement of a molecular alignment of information to take place. Those of you who use sound when you're working on others' bodies bring about a rearrangement of the molecular structure and create an opening for information to flood in. This kind of work will become more and more profound, bearing in mind this was written in 1992. In Tibet, when a master who was able to transcend realities passed over, his body was kept and allowed to move into the other natural deterioration, because the skeletal form held a sensibility to frequencies. Information is stored in bone and stone. In some places in Tibet, where the lines of continuity, in sects of monks can be traced back for thousands and thousands of years. That's why they tone and they chant all the time, because they're aware of the power of this sound. They have very secret crypts and rooms filled with these skulls. When one walks into these places, one can, through sound, access the intelligent factors of humans who once occupied those skulls. So the creative form of sound is shown to you first as a potential. You are led and orchestrated through the use of this sound. Eventually, you will discover on your own some of the things that sound can achieve. Then you will become more daring and you will learn what sound can create. Energies are introduced this way to make certain there is no misuse of them and that you don't overextend yourself or overdo out of enthusiasm. So the ancient power of sound, in fact, I believe the power of sound built the pyramids. I believe we can manifest through sound. And when we come together and we tone together, the power that we have to shift the energies and to shift what's inside of ourselves, to recalibrate ourselves, to align ourselves to our soul awakening, which is what SAS stands for, Soul Awakening Sound. So I'm claiming that and I'm owning that. And for any of you that happen to be anywhere in Cheshire next weekend, I'm going to be running a Spring Equinox Soul Awakening Sound event, which you can find again on Vision On. So if anybody happen to be close by or can get there, it'd be wonderful to have you and to share with you the fantastic tones that you can use to not only recalibrate your own body and to cleanse and clear what's going on inside to bring in fresh energies, but you can also share that with others. And that's what I want to bring to the table today is, are you daring enough to start bringing sound to your places that you visit, in your own home, and to people that are around you? I really feel that this is something very powerful that we can all work and do work together. So with that, thank you for for your listening. And remember, the theme is today. Obviously, you can share whatever you like, but just to give you a focus, what is it that you'd like to spring into action with coming for the spring equinox on Monday, next Monday, the 20th? So with that, has anybody got their hand up? We have Brian. We'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm just going to try and find the mute button again for the participants because I can hear. If you notice that you're unmuted, or could you please mute yourself? Lindsay, are you muted?
Oh, I don't know.
No, you're not. So if you could mute yourself, because otherwise we get terrible background disturbance. Thank you.
That's what it was.
Brian, you can unmute yourself because we're going to hear what you have to say. So I'm just going to open up my screen a little bit and then you may speak. Oh, there we go. So welcome, Brian. Hi, darling.
Really good to see you as well, Sas.
Thank you.
Yes, glowing as usual. Well done. Yes, the music is magic. The sound, the bells. We want bells, don't we?
We do.
Yes, we love the bells. Rachel lives right near that church with them amazing bells. Yes, I remember them when we were kids. Yes, it is the magic, isn't it, in the church, the vibration, the organ. It's getting back to that. We want some egg beds, don't we? So, yes, you were saying, yes, I have to be dynamic, don't I? I have to push forward. I'm on a spiritual journey, aren't I? I've been on Buddha's path, Christ consciousness, God consciousness, aliens. So, yes, I've got to push forward in the community, haven't I? I do the rehabilitation. I'm supposed to be setting an example. So, yes, it's amazing what the projects I want to do is just the water engineering, putting the good vibration into that water, the crystals to purify it, because it is the detox, isn't it? And I'd like to sell that water. We're not warp speed, quantum leap, isn't it? Yes, but I'm not. Yes, so I'm going to have to learn how to be an entrepreneur. Hopefully, I will up my vibe enough for Rachel to give me some mentoring. She is brilliant at that accounts and stuff. So, yes, I'm here to support the community. And yes, do I have to set up a trust? People are a bit slow here and don't want to come forward and be leaders as such. The professionals have sort of let us down a bit. I have arguments with the Borders Trust, the NHS, well, even these charities. Some of them I'd like to support, especially the Oakley project in Guildford. But that's sort of old school and it's sort of mixed up with government money and council money. And it may have lost its way. It does the mental health. But we want it for everybody, don't we? And so that's what I'm about here in Woking. I live in a village now. I've moved back to a village called Knapp Hill. It's off of Robin Hood Road. We used to have a Robin Hood pub. There's a Robin Hood trading estate. Yes, I go sort of Bob Marley, don't I? He done the music in the good vibration. Do you remember? All
I
you
do.
need is love. Was that the Beatles? Yes. So the vibration is very good. So yes, yes, the abundant growth of the wonderful food as well. So this is all sort of part of the well-being. So I'm sort of after a well-being centre here in sort of Knapp Hill. I think every town should have a well-being centre where you can all congregate. I think we can do better than a psychic fair because it's not. It is the true science, isn't it? I mean, yes, that there are cowboys out there, but there are cowboy builders as well. I don't claim to be an amazing builder. I just do the helping hands. I know a man who can, isn't it? I have an open mind. Get out of my comfort zone, do due diligence. And yes, so I'm sort of wanting to sort of ask Rachel's sort of question as well. I know we do the spiritual journey with you and Sas and on this channel, but do I have to set up a trust to raise money? Am I allowed to go out there and collect money for a project or a party, or do I have to get involved with some internet nonsense as well? Can't I do it on a physical level? Get the locals involved. How do people raise money for these projects, for the political party? Yes, so I'm thinking of the Robin Hood Trust to set up. So I will let you speak. I've said
that sounds
quite
great.
a lot.
Yes, I'm sure there's funding, there's crowdfunding that you can tap
Well,
in.
Yes, there's loads of it for all of us. So there's all. I mean, we used to have European money, didn't we? They were supposed to be for entrepreneurs and for the small projects. There are grants out there, but yes, this is what the Wellcome Trust do, don't they? They give out loads of grants, but they give it to satanic. Well,
Agendas.
I think they're a corrupt company, aren't they? And they need to be sued and broken down for the community trust. So all that money, yes, should go to grants for the community projects. And you're right, there are already grants available for these projects, but it's Higgins Trust and Prince Charles Trust and National Trust. These I've got the WWF here, the Wildlife Fund. They've got a massive building. They're allowed to advertise on the mainstream telly, and you can donate however much you like each month, and it comes straight out of your account. And yes, do we get to look at their books and where all that money's going to? Yes, it is the locals that end up looking after them animals and standing up to them hunters and the slave trade or whatever it is, isn't it?
Hey, Brian, did you say there was a church in your local area? There normally is, isn't there? What about utilising a building that's already there and maybe setting up some kind of event in your local church to raise some funds and raise awareness? And see if they can help there.
I was down there last Monday at my local one, Trinity Church. It was open and they sort of had a food bank thing going on there. This is where you can put your supplies as well. If you've got an overabundance of vegetables and you've got growing, then there are places in the village where you can take all this and set up to help the people, to give them confidence and empower them. These are the people that will be voting and can donate what they can afford. Yes, you're right.
Tap into what's already available and expand on that, and just have an idea of what it is you'd like to offer the community, and see if you can gather some support from other people that may want to volunteer some time and energy. Maybe people who are already in provide music, comedy. Just see the local talent. You could maybe put on something, inviting local talent to raise some money for your idea.
Yes, that's right. So these things sort of really already exist, don't they? It's just a case of we're empowered, and it's a case of having the confidence out of comfort zone to set up these things.
Just need people to coordinate this, yeah. So you can bring yourself, you can be a coordinator, Brian, because you've got that energy and that passion, which is what's needed to galvanise people.
Yes.
So thank you, listen. I'm going to go over to Rachel now. She may.
I've got a past and history. Yes, I can come. Yes, I need to clean up my act a bit as well. Don't I get a haircut? I'm not sure of what clothes to wear.
I just think you have to be yourself, Brian, because that's what people
You've got the
people are drawn to. thank you, Brian. I'm going to ask if anybody has got any bright ideas of how to raise funds or what to tap into. Please, could you put some suggestions for Brian down in the chat room, or for anybody else in that matter, if anybody's got any bright ideas, because it's great to share what we already know. So thank you, Brian. I'm going to go over to, oh, Rachel's put her hand down now, so she doesn't want to speak. Oh, she does want to. So Brian, just mute yourself, and we can always come back to you if you've got more wants to come forth.
Thank you very much, Sas. Thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you, darling. Appreciate your enthusiasm. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Sas. Thanks for hosting today. I
You're
wouldn't
welcome.
normally put my hand up so early, but I noticed you don't have many hands up, and I know as a presenter, it's nice to have hands up. So please, everyone on the call, please do put your hand up and come on the call, because it's the people speak out, and you are, you know, you are the show, people. It shouldn't just be me and Sas and Brian, the regular, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to address a few things. Firstly, this thing about energy you were talking about, Sas. Yeah, the energy is incredibly intense. And for those of us who have practices like meditation or shamanic practices or sounds or mantras, you know, like we can, it's really helps. But I often think to myself, how do people cope who don't have any of those tools? You know, I would imagine, well, I suppose it is sort of, I don't know, having copious amounts of sugar and caffeine, probably, and booze and fags. I don't know, but it is intense at the current time. I'm really feeling it on the personal level, and especially at night, I quite often wake up with a lot of anxiety. And one thing I found really helpful is I have a little pebble next to my bed, and I just hold it in my left hand just to download like a shamanic technique, that just to hold a little pebble, not even a crystal, just a little stone, just a little pebble. It really helps to hold a pebble in your left hand, bizarrely. I learned that through doing shamanic work. Anyway, just to say on what you were talking about, Brian, about raising money and about trusts. The way that we did Crestbrook was a private members association, and the beauty of that is that it's not a legal entity. So if you set up a political organization or a charity or a trust, they're all legal entities, and you end up in a whole realm of red tape. Whereas a private members association is basically a gathering of people. And under common law, it's the simplest thing you can do. Set up a private members association, because under common law, you have the right to freely associate with whom you wish. And you have the right to corral your resources and bring your money together and buy something as a private members association. And then all you need is some trustees who stand at land registry if you're buying land. But the key thing is you're not a commercial organization, and therefore you're outside of the system. So I wouldn't advise setting up a legal entity unless you absolutely have to. Obviously, with the Love Party, we're a political party. We have to dance in the red tape, unfortunately, and it is a nightmare. So that would be my advice. And it's interesting that Sas says, oh, put on a show, because that's the old Hollywood thing, isn't it? Like, hey, I know, let's put on a show. But the key thing is to create a project which captures the imagination of the community. And if you have an existing community or tribe, so much the better. If you create something that captures the imagination, for example, you find an amazing piece of land or an amazing building or an amazing opportunity, that is what's going to draw support and money and ideas and help and everything you need. It will act like a magnet. That would be my suggestion. Anyway, that's over for me. I can see you've got lots of hands up now, Saswell, but out.
Okay, well, feel free, Rachel, if you want to come back and speak.
Oh, I just wanted to say one thing. The Top Secret weekend, it was by private invitation. It's a Saturday night cacao ceremony, which is pretty much full, but we have got a Sunday workshop from 10 till 4 where Ravi's going to teach about using the power of your voice and sounding, and there are some places left on that. So if anyone is interested, because I was going to put it out a little bit wider because I was hoping to fill it all just from a very tiny list. But I am going to put it out a bit wider. So if anyone is interested in coming on that, I know it slightly clashes with Stand in the Park being on a Sunday, but if anyone's interested in one of those last places, get in touch with me because it's very powerful, as you know. So, like, I don't need to tell you that Sas, super powerful to learn how to really use that throat chakra.
Yes, absolutely.
Healing and for visioning and for manifestation, the resonance of our voice, speaking truth. It's very powerful to manifest spelling, you know, of our voice. So the more we do to strengthen our voice, it transforms our external reality. That's my experience of it. Anyway.
It absolutely does. And Ravi does this, and so do I. And it's my dream and my vision is to have thousands of groups all over the country, all over the world, coming together to intone together, to set a tone together.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about sound is you don't have to have a singing voice, because once you start sounding and you start clearing your voice, it actually automatically starts to harmonize with other people, and the most beautiful energies and sounds come forth. So
Yeah.
it really is something I would encourage, and that's why we all have a voice. And the first thing you do as a child and a baby is make sounds, and we kind of lose that, but we use sound all the time to express ourselves. If you just have a think about what you might use your sounds for, how you express yourselves through that. So thank you, Rachel, for your share. And we're now going to come over to David, who has next have his hand. David, like to unmute yourself and please share what it is that you want to speak about. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Sas. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, thank you, we can.
My screen's a bit glitchy, so I thought I'd just double check. Yeah, so thank you very much, first of all, for hosting. Lovely to see you hosting. Hello. I was thinking about energy, and basically, I don't know how many of you saw it, but about 3 weeks ago, Sadiq Khan was doing a People's Question Time in Ealing, a live question time event in Ealing, and he was filmed and heard by the audience and numerous other people elsewhere across the country, possibly the globe, talking about the demonstrators outside, the peaceful demonstrators outside and inside the building, the ULIS demonstrators who are against his ULIS expansion in London, draconian ULIS expansion, should I say. He was describing these demonstrators as the far right, as anti-vaxxers, COVID deniers, all this inflammatory wording he was using. And what struck me, because I promote love and freedom, that's my thing, love and freedom, is that we need to unite, come together, and remember the love in our hearts, because these people are terrified of us. They're terrified. Sadiq Khan, his ilk, the World Economic Forum, people beyond their imagination, not people that we would never normally hear about in the echelons of society. They're terrified because they're terrified of the fact that we will bring people together and we will share our love with others. They hate unity. They're terrified. So his inflammatory wording that night was deliberately set up to provoke anger, provoke a reaction. Oh, look at these dangerous anti-vaxxers. Look how angry they are. It's all so manipulative. So all I can say, if we can, which reminder to myself, is that we need to try and smile. We need to hug each other. We need to listen to each other, communicate, and talk to people who we normally wouldn't have anything in common with. You know, not to try and preach them and convert them. That's not what we're here for. But just let them listen. Just listen to them. Listen to their voice. Listen to what they have to say. Because there's so many people who have been traumatized by the last 3 years alone. And I'm a mental health worker of 20 years. This is trauma, as you all know, on a global scale. So these people around us, they need to be listened to. We need to listen to them. We need to show empathy to the people, regardless of what their faults are, because by doing so, we'll bring everybody together against these beings, so not just human beings. So don't let them divide and rule you. Come together, keep smiling, keep hugging, and keep listening to each other. And that's all I need to say.
Thank you so much, David. I totally concur with what you just said. And yes, when people come together with the same consciousness or a similar consciousness or with the intention is that's where the power is. It's the intention, because when you come together with intention, you actually create an amplified field of energy, which actually taps into a much deeper part of your own power as well. So it's absolutely incredible when you come together and have that focus. So yes, I would wholeheartedly encourage that as much as possible. So thank you for your share, David. And just to remind anybody, if they want to share what they want, what wants to spring forth in their own lives, whether it be an awareness of your thinking processes, does it support you? Would you like to clear the weeds from the garden and replant something more positive? Becoming aware of the way we think and what our beliefs are that may be outmoded and no longer serve us. So spring is a fantastic time for that to occur. So with that, just hopefully it gives you a bit of inspiration to maybe share those people that don't normally speak. I know it's a bit scary sometimes to actually put yourself out there, but if we don't have that courage to stand up and speak in people that we're all holding you here, no one wants to put you down. We want to all support each other. We all have the intention here to speak what it is we feel important at this time to share. So please do come forth and share something, even if it's what you're wanting in your life, just to feel that you're contributing something positive in your own life. So thank you, everyone who's spoken so far. And I'm going to come over to Paul now. I'm not sure I've heard you speak before, Paul. Maybe I haven't been there when you have, but I'm very glad and pleased and delighted to hear your voice. So please share. Thank you.
Hello, hi Sas, hi everyone. Good to see you all. I have spoken once or twice before, but it was quite a while ago. So don't really know what I'm here to talk about. I've been living in Spain for the last 16 years. And I've decided that this year I think I'm gonna move back to the UK, which is scary but exciting at the same time. I feel like here, Spain is kind of a few years behind the UK in terms of the New World Order and the cashless society and things, it seems. So I feel like things are going to the UK first in terms like the 15-minute cities and everything. And in a way, it would be easy to just kind of sit here and ride it out and wait for it to come to Spain. But I'm feeling drawn to go back and sort of get involved in the cause a bit more and yeah. So yeah, I'm looking really just to connect with people and sort of make my tribe, so to speak, for when I get back. And if anyone knows of places to rent, any jobs or anything, then let me know. Open to any ideas or suggestions.
Well, Paul, we're really here. This is what we love to hear, is where people live, what's motivating them to do that. So can I ask you what's inspired you or motivated you to move back to the UK? What is it about Spain that you feel you've had enough of?
Well, it's a few things really. My parents are getting older and I want to be closer to them. That's one of the reasons. Financially, Spain isn't a good place to be. It's not a good place to be self-employed here. It's expensive. Okay. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper to live here than it is in the UK. So probably swings and roundabouts maybe. But I think it's more about being around like-minded people and finding some more awake folk.
Yes.
So, because where I am is great and there's lots of lovely people, but it's not really an awake community and people are just, I don't know. I feel like there's more going on in the UK. They're very, somebody's just commented in the chat that people are so compliant here. They tell them to put masks on and everyone puts masks on immediately, no questions asked. And they're still wearing masks to go into the pharmacy, for example. If you go to the chemist, you have to put a mask on. If you go to the medical centre, you have to put a mask on. And nobody says no. They just do what they're told.
That would be enough to want to leave, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, when everything started to kick off, I ran away to the countryside and like live in nature. I've got no neighbours. It's brilliant. I've got loads of space and land, but that's no good when you don't have like-minded people to share it with. So
you're motivated by wanting to find your tribe and connect with your tribe. Is that it's a
yeah.
Whereabouts would you like?
Yeah.
Anywhere particularly, so that, because you're saying anywhere where people know where there's possible potential rental market. Whereabouts, have you got any idea where you'd like to move back to, Paul?
Probably somewhere in the north, sort of. I'm from Hull originally, so I don't want to be more than about 2 hours away from Hull, because that's where, well, I'm flexible, but it's obviously cheaper in the north as well. I don't have a particularly big budget, so I'll be finding my feet and looking for work and things like that. So, but I'm pretty much open to anywhere really. If
Okay.
well,
we're the salt of the earth in the north, aren't we? So it's a good place to start. So if anybody has any know about any communities or anywhere that Paul can tap into, again, please write your information in the chat, because the more information we share, the more we can become gathered together and moving in the same direction. So Paul, is there anything else you'd like to say before I move to Kareen? Thank you.
No, thank you very much for having me on, and I'll listen to the rest of it and speak to you soon.
Wonderful to hear your voice speaking up and to hear where you're from and what your intentions are. So lovely. Thank you very much for speaking forth. Really appreciate it. Look forward to embracing you back into the UK when it's time.
Brilliant.
So mute yourself again, Paul. And
I will.
Kareen, if you could unmute yourself, we'd love to hear what you have to say today.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for hosting, as ever. Okay, so I just wanted to say, here in Frome, we've just had the Kindness Festival. And there's this lovely, it's called the Good Heart Cafe, where people can go and they can have free food, and you can pay extra money so people can have free food, and it's run by Tibetans. And part of this is they do a week-long festival of kindness here in Frome. And so we've been quite involved in doing lots of volunteers. And they have these badges you can give out to people. And it's just lovely because you're kind of engaging with people who maybe, just want to walk by and do their shopping, and then they kind of get involved. And one of the badges is we don't have to agree in order to be kind to one another. And I just think, there are these lovely badges with these beautiful quotes that are so really heart to heart, and being kind to each other, fundamental humans. So that has been amazing, really. And I don't know, I think just with the bubble of that, I find that I tend to engage with people anyway if I go shopping, because I think smiling and having a laugh with a trolley or something. But I've had the most incredible conversations with people this week. I went to get my boots resold, and I had the most amazing conversation with a woman with completely white waist. And just sort of speaking out here and there, and that just really feels important. And even just like questioning the narrative. Somebody had gone to the theatre and they couldn't, their phone didn't have any charge, so they couldn't open their Tesla car to drive home. And it's just like, I don't know, sharing those funny little things that everyone is suddenly realizing this brave new marvelous world isn't so great after all. So I'm ranting because I always feel that the speaking, I'm so willing. The thing that actually today I saw, which really gave me a lift, is this it's called electroculture, and it's about using copper and zinc wires, spirals, and what it does. I mean, I don't really know, but it's to do with it can shift away chemtrails, and it really boosts the fertility, and it helps the soil, and to do with magnetism, and it's all this harvesting the natural energy of the earth, but also it helps to offset some of the poison that has been getting onto our earth. So that as a step forward, it's something that I'd quite like to for myself, because we grow a lot of veg. I want to grow good carrots this year, so I'm going to try and get some of this copper zinc wire and make a thing and see if I can boost fertility. Yeah, and for me, sound is increasingly I sing all the time, and mantra and this, that, and the other, and I think the whole sound healing vibration is definitely on my chart for upping this year. And that's I've said plenty, sending love and you know, holding to the light, keep shining, and thank you.
Thanks, Corinne. It's always wonderful to hear your very positive voice and what's going on. I love that. A festival of kindness. And what can I just ask you what people did in the Festival of Kindness?
Well,
were offered.
Well, there's this anyway. There is this thing about free food. They did a lot of stuff with schools. I wasn't involved with that, but going around schools, and there were talks. I think Claudia Hammond's weekend. There were various people doing various talks on the kindness and helping people on the mental level. What else is going on? I mean, there was a fabulous film with Amelie and everyone dressed up in French things, and they had, I don't know, just little gifts and funny little things to do, and just in the streets we all had these amazing banners, and you know, sewers had made these amazing hats, and because they did this in the library, you could put a hat on and have your photo taken, and you know, the little tree that you can tie love messages on, and you know, just lovely crafty things. So you know, got Froome written all over it, really.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a good idea. And maybe that can spread, because, you know, just having some ideas like that, it can inspire other places to go, yeah, that's a good idea. I'd like to do that. Because... we had a thing with ducks on it, and so anybody could hook a duck, and on the bottom was a number, and so you look at the chart to see what kind of activity you could do, you know, so send someone a letter you haven't spoken to for a long time, or hug your child, or you know, like, or you know, children have a special thing to, you know, do something nice for somebody, share a toy or share a treat, or making connections, really. That's wonderful to hear, Corinne. Always good to hear the positive things, but sometimes in our lives things aren't always positive, so it's also important when we're sharing as well that don't feel if you haven't got anything to share that's positive, share what's going on for you, share what's real, share what's moving, because then other people can connect and feel like they're not alone. So sharing what's true is also equally valuable because it helps other people. But I do appreciate your lovely positive energies, Corinne, and what you bring to the table. So thank you very much. And
I'll just say, I had a whole day of crying last week as well. So I'm just that, you know, I do go there too.
Well, the tears are cleansing, aren't they? They're very cleansing. So it's we're kind of made to feel, or I certainly was when I was growing up, that certain emotions and certain feelings were not acceptable. That you have to put a stiff upper lip and be positive all the time. And I'm finding with these energies, one minute I feel really, really high. In fact, I'm having to hold on to the sides of my kitchen the other day when I was making breakfast, because I was literally felt like I was on a ship, and I was literally going up and up and up, and it kind of made me laugh because it was like really destabilizing and thinking, what's going on? It took quite a while for me to feel grounded, and I literally then use the tools that I have, because when you have a tool bag and that you practice it, you know that you can always go there. So I started using the root chakra sounding to ground me on the earth, because that's what we needed, or looking for a piece of grass that you can grab and take your socks off and put your feet in, just ground that energy, because it can send you a little bit sort of like out of kilter. So thank you, Corinne. And now we're going to come over to Ravi. Hi, Ravi. Did you hear your ears burning as we were mentioning you earlier on? Oh, or did you join afterwards? If you've joined afterwards, we won't bother mentioning what we said about you. But do please feel free to share your offerings today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sas. Kate, I presume you can hear me?
We can hear you very well. Thank you.
Yes. No, I don't know if it was my sudden appearance that provoked Rachel to mention the event that's happening in Bakewell, but I was present for that. And I think the main thing I've been wanting to join for a while, and I think it was possibly slightly provoked me joining today because I went to I've not really been to, well, I haven't been to over the last 3 years to my pushback experience has not been, I've been to any demos or of any sort, and I briefly came to one of the Bakewell stand in the parks because I just happened to be there. But I went to my second one, which just happened to be at Pam Gregory's birthday on Sunday morning. So it was lovely to finally to meet Pam, being an admirer of her YouTube videos. So that was delightful, and just to meet another stand in the park crew in the forest, the New Forest, where I just led one of the events which I've been doing all over the country and abroad for the last 3 years. I think the main thing I wanted to share was that you know, I think a lot of us have found almost like what we needed to offer to the world, some sort of positive response over the last 3 years. It's like in the way that the last 3 years has been a blessing, at least for me, because it was almost like the yes, it was the catalyst that provoked me to almost like a you know, it was like a sort of particularly when the powers that be, or whatever you want to call them, in around, I think around May or June 2020, and I often say this in my events, that there was this message that came from on high that you're not supposed to sing with anybody anymore. So that was like a red rag to a bull for me, and I went even more into what I was doing. And there were times in when all the what I call the silliness was going on, when I even had the thought form, am I going to get arrested or something, going out and helping people to sing in the most beautiful way, joyful way possible? But of course nothing happened. And I could have gone online like many people did at the time, and didn't keep working in the physical realm. But the blessing that I had from that was that I was able to birth a completely, these formats that I offer, these what I call these opportunities to sing, that I facilitate, sometimes in collaboration, but usually on my own. And I've had to struck out on my own just to make it worthwhile. And I've been literally all over the UK and now abroad. Just led the first retreat in Morocco. And so, but again, one of the gifts was realizing as I went deeper into this was that firstly, I had something to offer to the world, and secondly, that it was a way for me to live my own truths, my own experience, and my own research of my research of the true history of humanity, which includes the study of the indigenous peoples who are have an unbroken thread to all the way back to however far you want to go. At the moment, being particularly with the African shamanic lineage, which originally the source of which is the pygmies of the Central African rainforest, and the pygmies, what do? They sing from morning till night. The kids sing from beginning of their lives till the end, and it's a singing culture, and the music is sublimely joyful and actually incredibly sophisticated. And that's saying this as a musician all my life, and I've involved in every kind of music, from jazz to classical to anything. So this has been an opportunity to live that and offer that to people and remind people that we've always done this, got together and sung and moved as well and danced as well, particularly on special occasions, as in the turning of the seasons. So yes, so if anybody ever wants to invite me to wherever they are, if you've got a room full of people for this experience, just get in touch. And I always enjoy going back to the north where I was brought up. And actually, a little heads up, there's going to be if anybody's heard of a festival called All About Love, there's a similar one going to be started up in the northwest called We Are the Medicine, and in Stockport they found a wonderful sort of park with lakes and chalets and things. The 5th, 6th of May, so I'll be there and organised with some people I know. So a little heads up for a kind of a new sort of festival. Otherwise, so but I think that's my offering, and lovely to see you all, particularly some of the people I know. Hi, Kareen. Okay, thank you. On the Shivaya.
Oh, thank you, Ravi. That's great information. And thank you for all the work that you're doing. Obviously, I'm completely aligned with it. But you're also a fabulous musician. And it sounds really interesting. I'm not far from Stockport, so if there's anything I can do to get involved, let me know and I can spread the word.
I'll put the links to my site and to the We Are the Medicine Festival in the chat.
Please do, because Stockport definitely needs some of those good vibrations. It's one of those areas I have to sort of envelop myself in a golden bubble of light before I enter into. But it's, you know, when there's an awareness of that, then things start to appear in that area where there needs to be light grounded and the sound. So brilliant. That's great news. And keep up the good work. And lovely to see you on here, Ravi. Thanks for your share. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
To mute yourself and then we'll have less background. That would be great. But if you want to come back and if you have something else you want to say, please do just put your hand up again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And my feeling is that churches were built as sacred sound centers. If you think about it, when they play the organ, is that to basically bring resonance to the organs of our body? And I just think that we need to reclaim these churches for our sound gatherings rather than necessarily for the religious instruction, which is a bit outdated and outmoded, but maybe still relevant for some people. And there are some fantastic quotes and information from the Bible. So it's not to toss the baby out with the bathwater, but to maybe reclaim some of these places as chapels. See if you can find out where these sound centers are in your own local area. And maybe sometimes they used to leave the doors open. Whenever I find anywhere with a door open that's like that, I sneak in and go and sound and create a resonance in there. Sometimes you get caught and get told off, but sometimes you can get away with it. So I recommend it if anyone finds a good sacred space to do some sound in. So thank you. Carol, welcome over to you. Thank you for braving it on here. And I know you're often there. Much appreciated. So please share with us what you'd like to.
I thought I'd comment because you said even if you're not feeling
absolutely
positive. I mean, for me, the last 3 years, it's just been challenge after challenge after challenge. And it's sort of been like shrinking under the weight. And the biggest thing, although, and it's been draining and challenging and everything else. But the thing I've noticed is now I feel, although the challenges are still there, I just feel that they will be dealt with correctly and the right thing will happen as a result. But I don't feel quite so bogged down with it all. I just know it will resolve itself as the time passes. And I couldn't actually tell you why I believe that, but it's almost like there's a knowing. Because I know at one stage, I think in January, I was thinking, this is going to kill me. I can't cope with this. But it's almost like it's like the old saying, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. So I've not experienced floating away like you stated with the energies, although biggest thing I've noticed since the new moon this time around is I seem to be feeling the cold a bit on my feet. Normally, one of the things I've noticed in the last 12 months is I find myself really warm. Like I went to the market on Saturday with just a thin thermal vest and a fleece on top. And everybody there was in their jackets and all wrapped up. But I didn't feel the need for it. But every now and again, like now, my feet have gone cold. The rest of me's fine. But it's little odd things like that I find. On the whole, though, I'm a pretty positive person on it all. And it's interesting you talk about music and things, because I've recently bought myself a little Kundalini instrument. And the music it makes is delightful. Completely changes my mind just plucking it for a minute or two. So I think there's lots of changes that are going on. We're just not necessarily quite aware of how they're affecting us and moving us forward.
Yes, and also being grounded as well. Your feet, obviously, are the things that connect you to the ground. I always find, when I have, it's been really, really cold, and maybe the tips of my fingers have kind of felt a bit numb. I tend to put some cayenne pepper in a glass of warm water, dissolve it, and then drink it. And it seems to bring, a bit like Heineken, bring energy to the parts that otherwise may be a bit numb or that you haven't felt for some time. That could be any area of your body that might have been neglected for some time. We won't go into the details, obviously, but I really appreciate you sharing that, Carol, because it's not all happy and joyful and positive. A lot of people are going through a lot of struggles. There's a lot of doom and gloom that is infiltrating our consciousness, because it just happens to be there. It's just in so many, it's just in the collective consciousness what's going on. I heard recently that there's going to be a monetary collapse this week. You can see signs that banks are going under. Silicon Valley looks like it's going to lose all its financial sources. So I can't advise anybody. I'm not a financial advisor, but there has been muted a lot of information about taking your money out of the banks.
But again, I think on it, it's, although I've heard it and I've seen it, it's like, well, there's not really masses I can do, because even if I take my money out, it's just a piece of paper. Is it going to be worth anything?
Exactly.
So I've tended to be concentrating on, I'll be fine. It's bizarre, because I think back more to when I was at university, and when after you leave university, people make their decisions about what your role is going to be in life.
Yeah.
And what always amused me is I got back as I would be a survivor. I would always endure. And I think about that an awful lot more these days, because it's like, what was it that made people think that? You just don't know what it was that made them think it, but it's obviously very true, because I'm awake, whereas pretty well all my circle of friends and family aren't. So
exactly, and you're on here and you're sharing, and it's awareness is the greatest power, I think, of today, is your awareness and what you're noticing. Because does anybody, are you aware, do you notice all the positive signs that come through? Maybe picking up your phone and at that precise moment it happens to be 11:11 or 22:22, and these are always signs, positive signs, that we're on the right track and to keep on going. And there's always signs. It's just if we notice them. Just sometimes on the side of a bus. I mean, as I said last time, the other day, I was feeling a bit low and thinking, oh God, is there any point? What's the point of it all? And in front of me, a car appeared with Sas 1 on it in front of me. And then something told me to turn to the right, and there was a building called Sas Daniels. And then I saw a friend walking towards me that I hadn't seen for a long time. So there is always things to uplift you if you can tune into those things.
But it's things like you look out, and I'm looking out and going, well, it's looking a bit miserable out there. Could we have a bit of sunshine for when I walk the dog later, please? And then the sun will come out and we'll go.
Yeah, exactly. Or it'll calm down. But
I think the biggest thing for everybody to concentrate on is we're being manipulated to divide us. And all right, we might have disagreements with people and they might have done us wrong in the past, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all make mistakes, and it's only by working together as a group for everybody's interest that things will move forward.
Very well said, Carol. Thank you for your share. I'm just going to quickly move on so I can get Lisa and Anne voice in, because they put their hands up very kindly to share. So thank you, Carol. And Lisa, would you like to unmute? If anybody needs to go, because obviously we're at that 1 o'clock, time goes so quickly, but I do want to encompass and listen to what these two wonderful people want to say. So, but if you need to go, you have to go. Otherwise, please endure, and we will finish as soon as we've heard these last two speak. So thank you, Lisa. Please share. Thank you.
Thank you. I haven't been on for such a long time, and it's lovely to be back and see everybody again. And thank you to David earlier for mentioning about the sort of the dark night of the soul, the trauma that we've all gone through, because it really has been. And I think we have to acknowledge that the last few years has been quite traumatic. But what it did for me is it forced me to take some action and to rise. And I moved up to Scotland into the Highlands up here, and I had to get out of where I was. I felt so claustrophobic. It was like I couldn't breathe, imprisoned where I was. And up here in the Highlands, the energy where I am is so high vibrational that it's lifted me. And so what I want to bring and sort of manifest now, which is what you asked earlier, is I've started I don't like to use the word coaching because I don't believe in leading somebody else as such. So for want of a better word, a spiritual guidance. And I've also started writing poetry, and I'm about to go into a couple of books as well. And if I had a little message for Brian earlier when he said about wanting to be an entrepreneur, me too. And so what I decided to do is to embody entrepreneur right now, here and now. That's what I am. And start taking daily action, even if it's little steps forwards. Every day I put life and energy into what I'm doing. So I'm feeding the soil and it's starting to sprout and grow. And so just quickly, because I know you're short on time, I wrote a little message for you all, actually. I was just writing, but I realized it's probably for the group. And this is what I'm doing. It's about leading your own kingdom. Each of us are our own leaders and the leaders of our own kingdom. So with my spiritual guidance, I'm not here to lead anybody or to tell anybody what to do. It's really to just nudge you all back on your own path. And that higher self and that higher guidance that we connect to is us in the future that hasn't yet experienced the physical. And therefore, when we're crying out and sometimes we don't get an answer, it's because your higher self knows you're going to come through, but you've kind of got to figure it out for yourself. And that's, I'll wrap it up. And that's really what I wanted to share with you. And I'm just manifesting in and bringing in my writing, my poetry, and my spiritual guidance to just nudge people back onto their own leadership of their own kingdom.
Wonderful testimony to your own empowerment. And it has to start with us first, and then hopefully we can help to lift and raise others. As you say, it's just a guidance and an inspiration rather than a leading, if you like. I like to see it more as facilitating somebody else's empowerment. So thank you for that share, Lisa. Thank you for speaking up. And yes, if you want any information that you have to share with someone, how they can contact you, please put it in the chat. So please mute yourself. And Anne, we'll come over to you as the last speaker today. Please unmute, and wonderful to hear what you have to say. You haven't unmuted. You need to unmute. Can you manage to do that, or do you want me to bring up Anne? Do you press
yeah,
oh,
okay.
that's it, brilliant.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
all right. I messed everything up there. I was pressing buttons all over the place.
I don't worry.
Hello.
Lovely to speak. Yeah, we can hear you now. So please just share what it is.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I just feel that I think the voice is an incredibly important thing, and each of our voices is important and means so much. I found that over the last 3 years and getting older, I found my voice was kind of failing. It wasn't being heard. It was a stiller voice. I think the last 3 years has quietened us an awful lot, because we who have opinions, which aren't the opinions of everybody, we've had to be still. Our voices have been meaningless. What we've had to say has been meaningless and tackled badly by anybody that we would wanted to talk to about it. I had an 80th birthday in November, and that was the kind of turning point. And I now have a really loud voice. And I think the most important thing is that we need to resonate, and we need to say how we feel, and we need to be feel that we are allowed to say how we feel. And now, if I have opinions, I say them, and I'm unafraid to do so. That's it, basically. I've been empowered. Something happened last year, and it just empowered me to say how I feel, because we have a really important message for people, and we need it out there. That's it.
Fantastic contribution, and it's never too late to speak up.
Absolutely, never too late.
And Anne is testament to that, and we really appreciate you sharing that, Anne, because it's a very positive to end on. And so I'd like maybe everyone just to wave to the camera, and remember to sound your truth, sound your voice, to keep sharing, whether it's your truth, whatever it may be. And thank you so much for joining us today on the People Speaks Out. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. Not sure whether Helen's back. She's been in Mexico, but I'm guessing that she will be. But otherwise, it'll be Rachel or myself again. So thank you again. Take care, and love you all till next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.